You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6.
Coming up, Hurricane Michael, now a Category 4 storm, will bring you the latest as it's just hours now from making landfall in the Panhandle. Plus, storm surge on the Suncoast will take you to Anna Maria Live to see how high the water could get there. And we'll take a look at how experts think Michael could impact the Gulf's ongoing red tide issue. Good Morning Suncoast starts right now. Welcome back. 6 o'clock now on this Wednesday morning, October 10th. Glad you're with us. I'm Ray Collins. We have team coverage this hour of the effects of Hurricane Michael here on the Suncoast. Start off now with First Alert meteorologist John Scalzi. John, take it away, my friend.
Well, if you're just waking up, we now have a Category 4 storm, a very strong hurricane headed up toward the Panhandle. You notice kind of a little bit of a wobble in the eye wall of this system. That is just like little vortices, little mini tornadoes, if you will, kind of spinning around the eye wall, throwing off the inertia of this storm as it lifts northward. But it is headed up toward areas, probably Panama City, Mexico Beach, most likely location for a landfall a little later this afternoon. Some of the winds propagating out from that storm will extend out toward Gulf waters as tropical storm force, but I doubt we see tropical storm force winds sustained along our coastline, though we could get gusts. 140-mile-an-hour winds forecast to move up toward the Panhandle later this afternoon as a Cat 4 system, moving into Georgia perhaps as a hurricane, and then finally exiting off the Atlantic coast as a tropical storm. So a lot of strong winds and big storm surge up around the Panhandle and the Big Bend region, perhaps even a 12 to 14-foot storm surge possible, depending on how strong this storm gets. For us, we'll see a little bit of blow off in terms of showers and thunderstorms across our region today, but it's still a distance of over 200 miles away from us. So tropical storm force winds not likely, because the tropical storm force winds only extend out about 175 miles from the center of the storm. So we could get sustained winds along our coastline of anywhere from 20 to 25 miles per hour with some gusts up to 35. So there'll be quite a little bit of a blow later on this afternoon. But the biggest threat for us, I think, is going to be some impassable roadways due to elevated tides. And we'll be talking about that coming up throughout this broadcast. Back to you, Ray.
All right. Thank you, John. We'll get back to the storm next. First, quick check of First Alert traffic right now. Some buildup on 301 northbound as you head toward downtown Bradenton. Also Cortez westbound as some drivers heading toward the beach. Is not a great idea. Of course, there's a tropical storm watch out there right now. Farther south, activity on Bee Ridge, east and westbound, particularly eastbound as you head over McIntosh and Honore, Clark Road around Beneva, eastbound. And then our final map for the south, not much to speak of down there at 6:02 on this Wednesday morning. Right now, Manatee County is under a state of emergency. The concern around Anna Maria Island is the storm surge. Our Jess Dowdrick is live on Holmes Beach. And Jess, you've told us the conditions have changed. There's some consistent rain at 4 a.m. and right now it looks relatively calm there for you.
Yeah, Ray, the weather has been, calm 1 minute and then it's pouring and really windy the next. So as you can see right now, it's not raining at all. There's just a slight breeze. But about an hour ago, there were strong wind gusts and it would start pouring down raining, and it was almost raining sideways. Now, where I'm standing right now, I'm in the Keys Marina parking lot right along Marina Drive, which is right behind me, not far from the intersection of Gulf Drive. And I'm standing in floodwaters right now. Where I'm standing at this moment in time is probably about 2 to 3 inches, but I took a walk back that way a little bit ago and it's probably closer to 4 to 6 inches. And I said this a couple minutes ago, but you know the phrase turn around, don't drown. No one's really listening to that here on the island. We've seen someone fly through the floodwaters on a motorcycle. We've seen people go through the floodwaters on a bicycle. Of course, cars and trucks going through the waters as well. No one seemed to have any issues at this point in time. It's hard to tell whether or not the floodwaters are getting worse. The water is definitely not receding at all. It's definitely, 2 to 4 inches of rain, and it's been like that since I got here around 4:30 this morning. Now, Anna Maria Island Elementary School is closed today because of the flooded waters. All other schools in Manatee County are closed. For now, reporting live on Anna Maria Island, Jess Dowdrick, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Back with you next half hour on Good Morning Suncoast. Let's wipe live now to the scene in St. Armand Circle. Another crew standing by there to show us the conditions there. It's been pretty peaceful so far, and right now very quiet. John Scalzi's map is very active. It's bands of rain coming and going right now. No real issues in St. Armand Circle. We'll check back on that shot and continue to update the map throughout the morning here on Good Morning Suncoast. As Jess mentioned, Anna Maria Elementary is the only school in the area closed due to Hurricane Michael. The Manatee County School District also says there will be no transportation for island students who attend other schools on the mainland. Any students who do have to miss school as a result will receive an excused absence for the day. Duke Energy estimates that Hurricane Michael could leave hundreds of thousands of Floridians without power in North Florida. The electric company is predicting up to 200,000 outages. With that kind of impact, the company says it mobilized 7,000 workers. Here on the Suncoast, Florida Power and Light is also standing by. If you drive by the Sarasota County Fairgrounds on Fruitville Road, you'll see this large fleet of trucks. They're all on standby right now, ready to move out as the storm passes. And although Sarasota County is not in the line of fire, or is Manatee County, county officials are still watching closely and offering up some tips on staying safe. The county is passing out sandbags to residents. They're also urging drivers to be careful on the road due to flooding in some areas. The Sarasota County Fire Department is on standby to report to the Panhandle if needed. Well, the storm is a good reminder, they say, for those who live here on the Suncoast.
We try to narrow that down to three main things: have a plan, have a kit, and stay informed.
Sarasota County says they'll continue to monitor the storm over the next 2 days, but want the storm to be a lesson for residents to always be prepared. Well, scientists are hopeful, and so are the rest of us, frankly, that Hurricane Michael could be the relief we've been needing to dissipate the red tide in the Gulf. For now, they're still not sure how permanent that relief could be. Michael has already brought some high tides and big waves and strong winds. But after the hurricane passes, most scientists expect the onshore winds could push that toxic algae bloom closer to shore. Past hurricanes have both dispersed the blooms and made them worse, so scientists say it's hard to predict what will happen with this one.
One thing we know, that as the hurricane passes, right now you may notice we have offshore winds. So that's blowing the red tide away from the shore, and even if it were here, we would not be getting any airborne toxin because it's being blown out to shore.
And the red tide began back in June and July on the Suncoast. For the latest on Michael, plus breaking news and your latest forecast, head to our app. You can find it under WWSB or under My Suncoast. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, take a look at some of the newest pictures and video coming in of Hurricane Michael, and then we'll take you to the Panhandle where they're feeling the worst impact from the storm. Next half hour, we'll tell you how Michael could cause some problems for a national tennis tournament going on this week in Sarasota. Yeah, there's 128 nationally ranked players who are here, and the weather could be an issue later on today. Let's take a live shot right now from Gulf Shores, Alabama, where you can see the high winds picking up there. This area has a tropical storm watch back in Manatee County. Not quite the situation there in Gulf Shores and the Panhandle. John, I was surprised to hear this is the first time the Panhandle could receive such a storm. They're so exposed there.
Yeah, you would think, right? But it's definitely going to be historic in its strength and just normally doesn't happen. Let's take a look at our graphics. We're talking about a couple of tides that I need to get in here. We have a 139 high tide and another high tide after midnight at 12:41 at Anna Maria. Plus in Sarasota, we have a 228 this afternoon high tide and another high tide at 1:30. Those tides will run around 2 feet or better above their normal high tide values. So that is something to watch. It could lead to some impassable roadways. I've had questions about tornadic activity in our area. We have a slightest little risk that maybe an isolated storm might spin up a tornado. Not a big risk. The watch boxes by the Storm Prediction Center have been issued for areas from Tarpon Springs northward up through the Panhandle. That does not include our area. More on the forecast in a second.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard serve to give back to their country and communities. Their part-time commitment qualifies them for an array of benefits, such as affordable health and life insurance benefits, education benefits, including tuition assistance, student loan repayment, and GI Bill programs, a retirement plan based on part-time service, and VA home mortgages. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about all the benefits available in the Army National Guard.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, Contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Kind of windy out there. We have a southeast wind blowing at 15. For this time of morning, a 15-mile-an-hour wind is kind of unusual. I think a wind speed probably elevated right along the immediate coastline north of Sarasota Airport in Manatee County up toward Anna Maria Island of maybe 20 to 25 miles per hour with some gusts of 35 is about as bad as we'll see today. Our biggest issue, I think, is going to be, again, with some tidal rise, and that will occur again this afternoon and again after midnight tonight will be our two high tides. Right now, we're kind of at a low tide, so our waters are actually receding. 79 degrees, the air temperature. Dew point value 78, so it's kind of a thick, humid start to the morning, and that will be the case, I think, throughout the afternoon. The humidity is not going anywhere. In fact, it may even feel a little stickier as we head into the afternoon and our winds begin to shift just a little bit to the southwest. 70% chance of those storms around this morning into the afternoon, and then we'll watch them kind of trend down a little bit, but they'll still be with us through the evening hours at about 50% until we get to tomorrow morning at about 40%. I think tomorrow we'll start to really clear out just a little bit, even get some peeks at the sun. So, Category 4, solidly a Category 4, right in the middle of the scale, Category 4. Hurricane Michael continues to look very well organized and capable of even further strengthening, I think, as it lifts northward. It's now got its sights set on Panama City, around Mexico Beach, that area, lifting northward just to the west of Tallahassee, but that puts Tallahassee on the dirty side of this storm, that northeast quadrant, always the strongest, heaviest weather and the greatest risk of tornadic activity as well. It continues to head toward that coastline, making landfall probably later this afternoon, maybe early evening, although there is some acceleration in the forward speed, so probably middle afternoon is the best bet. And then lifting off toward Georgia, perhaps still as a Category 1 hurricane as we move into the wee hours of tomorrow morning, and then lifting off toward the Atlantic coast as we head into Friday. So this is a storm that is going to do just tremendous amounts of damage, not only on this coastline of the Panhandle, but also in the Big Bend region, where they're going to see some pile up of some water there, and storm surge that could exceed 10 feet, 10, perhaps 12-foot storm surge in this area as well. So some very, very disastrous situations unfolding for both Panhandle and Big Bend region as we head into the afternoon. The storm itself is very well formed with a solid eye wall signature on radar and thunderstorms all the way around its periphery. Clearly a storm that's probably going to strengthen more. For us, well, we have kind of a lull out here in near coastal water, so over the next half hour or so, I think along our coastline, things will be pretty quiet. The stuff is out in Gulf waters mostly, and also in inland areas, moving through areas around Hidden Acres and also into Bethany. We're looking at some heavy rainfall along 64 and 70 as well. So we'll continue to watch those showers lift northward at a pretty good clip, and probably see some redevelopment out here in near coastal waters in about an hour or so. The storm itself lifts north with our winds brisk out of the south today, turning a little bit more southwesterly this afternoon. Our next tide will probably feature a more southerly wind. The second tide after midnight tonight, high tide, will probably feature a more southwesterly wind, but those winds will be relaxing by that point. So I think 2, maybe 3 foot above normal tide height is about the worst we'll do. As the system makes it onshore, our winds turn more to the northwest, and then they really relax and draw down some drier air. That's Friday's weather. Looks pretty good. So for boating, obviously stay in port. It's going to be a terrible, terrible day for boating. I don't even need to tell you boaters that one. Gusty winds to 35 knots. We're looking at anywhere from 10 to 11 foot seas out there. We're also watching chances of rainfall at 70% today, decreasing to 50% tomorrow, 20% on Friday as the sun returns and the humidity drops. The weekend looks lovely, and so does the beginning of next work week. Ray?
Good to hear about that. Thank you, John. More storm coverage in a moment. First, checking first alert traffic. Some buildup on 301 southbound at Oneiko as you cross over State Road 70, otherwise pretty clear. In Manatee County, farther south, here's the scene in the northern half of Sarasota County. Some problems on 41 southbound as you approach the Ringling Causeway. Normally there's some flooding there, but I don't think we've seen enough rain yet to get flooding there. Farther south, all clear in the South County region. As you heard John just say, Hurricane Michael moving right now is a Category 4 hurricane, expected to make landfall early this afternoon about 2 p.m. in the Panhandle. Marla Spence is tracking Michael as it barrels toward Panama City. She joins us now live in the newsroom with the latest on that. Marla?
Hey Ray, people in Big Bend, the Panhandle, southeastern Alabama, and southern Georgia are all bracing for this hurricane as it strengthens and has the potential to be life-threatening from storm surge, force winds, and heavy rainfall. Now, if this hurricane makes landfall as a Category 4 hurricane, it'll be the strongest hurricane to hit the Panhandle in decades. Now, take a look. This is video of houses boarded up in Panama City. People also putting out sandbags to protect their homes. Even gas stations have boarded up their windows. They are urging customers to fuel up now because they'll be closing early before Michael makes landfall. Now, this storm could have the potential to have up to 12 inches of rain, which could obviously cause some major flooding. Now, although many people are told to evacuate now, many Panama City residents say they aren't going anywhere.
Well, we've been on that same road for over 100 years. My family has.
Okay.
And I've seen worse than this.
Okay.
And it's never got up to our house. The storm surge hasn't.
It's going to be frantic. And you know it's serious when I get a call from the White House concerned with the city of Apalachicola.
Governor Rick Scott has described this hurricane to be monstrous and has urged people to get out of the way. Currently, right now, there are voluntary and mandatory evacuation orders in at least 22 counties on the Florida Gulf Coast. Ray?
All right, thank you, Marla. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, several new cases of a rare illness that produce polio-like symptoms are being reported across the country. And next half hour, the latest on Hurricane Michael and how it could affect flights in and out of the Suncoast. But first, look outside our studios. Relatively peaceful right now, but John's map showing plenty of bands of rain We'll check back with him in about 10 minutes and have more coverage for you coming up on Good Morning Suncoast.
Reorganizing a space in your home? Save up to 15% on our premium finishes during the California Closets Autumn Upgrade event. Contact us today for a free design consultation. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
Your last chance for 2018 Honda Accords on sale is now during our model year-end sale. Drive new Accords for just $249 a month. Get an Accord, the North American Car of the Year, for less than the competition. With more standard features than Camry, Honda Sensing, multi-angle camera, turbocharged engine, and more. New Accords, just $249 a month. Your last chance for Accords, all on sale this week at your local Honda dealer.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself. Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at nationalguard.com.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework.
He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffy Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
ABC 7 News at 7, weeknights.
Reorganizing a space in your home? Save up to 15% on our premium finishes during the California Closets Autumn Upgrade event. Contact us today for a free design consultation. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
Developing overnight in southwest Florida, 2 people are dead, 2 more injured in a shooting near a Fort Myers shopping center. Reports say a woman was marking her birthday when somebody shot her husband in the chest and killed her son. This happened at the Bell Tower shops at Daniels and 41. Not a random thing. Police think there was some history between the shooter and the victims. We'll continue to update the story throughout the morning online at mysuncoast.com. Several new cases of a rare illness that produce polio-like symptoms are being reported across the country. ABC's Paula Ferris has an update.
In this morning's GMA First Look, more cause for concern as 3 suspected new cases of that rare polio-like illness were reported in Pittsburgh. The disorder, called acute flaccid myelitis, or AFM, looks like a cold or the flu, but quickly turns into polio-like symptoms. So far this year, clusters have been detected in 16 states, 38 cases total, already surpassing last year's total.
You know, your typical 2-year-old before this, she was running around, telling knock-knock jokes and getting into trouble.
These Illinois parents say their 2-year-old daughter, Julia, is recovering after treatment.
It attacked Julia's body or spinal cord.
Doctors say it's rare with no cure, and they don't know how it's transferred.
Some kids regain some of their function.
We'll have the latest on this unfolding medical mystery coming up at 7 a.m. with your GMA First Look. I'm Candace Gibson, ABC News, New York.
Joining meeting.
Fight your cough and break up mucus with new Alka-Seltzer Plus Cough and Mucus. Just one pill works 12 hours, all day or all night. Max your cold relief with Alka-Seltzer Plus.
How do you top mac and cheese? Start with 100% clean ingredients, like Vermont white cheddar. Then add bacon, barbecue chicken, or Baja blend. Catering and delivery now available. Panera, food as it should be.
My mom washes the dishes before she puts them in the dishwasher. So what does the dishwasher do?
Cascade Platinum does the work for you. Pre-washing and removing stuck-on foods the first time.
Wow, that's clean.
Cascade Platinum.
You know, I'm really particular about what my family eats. Things like blue, yellow, and red dyes, not for this family. So when it comes to this big baby, I give him Blue Sizzlers, not bacon strips.
While they're both healthy treats, Blue Sizzlers is made with none of the synthetic colors that are in bacon strips. So try Blue Sizzlers today.
Hey everyone, I'm Bob Vitello. This is Alan Bristow from Publix Aprons Cooking School. You got a nice pork dish going on, Alan.
Doing a little harissa pork, Bobby. It's a real nice dish. We got a center cut piece of pork loin right here. This is actually a pork tenderloin. So we're gonna put a little salt on it, okay? And we always say at the school, salt from up high, so you get a nice even coverage right there. That's what we're looking at. Let that sit for a minute. We've already got a piece of pork in here that's been salted, and it's searing off right now. The first part of the pork is just searing.
You're going to finish that in the oven?
We're going to finish it right in the oven, Bobby.
Now, what is harissa? What is it?
Harissa is a North African spice seasoning mix.
Pretty cool.
Very spicy, very hot. This one we've tamed back a little bit so it doesn't have to be as hot. Cool. So what we have in this dish here is we have sun-dried tomato pesto, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lemon in there. We've got some mint in there. We've got some red pepper in there, the hot red pepper. So, but we didn't go too crazy because we wanted it to be too hot. So I've got right here, I've got some beautiful cut sweet potatoes. We're going to add a little of this harissa paste to that.
Look at those beautiful sweet potatoes cut like that.
Those are cut beautiful. I like my potatoes cut perfect.
Beautiful.
So we just mix it up like that. The next thing we want to do with those is we're going to put them on a sheet tray. We're going to put them in the oven for about 15 minutes and bake them, just so they're almost done. Then we're going to slide them to the side of that pan.
It sounds like a puzzle.
It's a puzzle.
I love
and
it.
we're going to put this pork right on there. You see the pork starting to brown up really, really nice. We got a little garnish with this, a little cumin, a little yogurt here, a little fresh mint.
Nice Greek yogurt.
Nice Greek yogurt, a little bit of lemon in there as well. We mix that up, and that's our little sauce we put on the top. It's very, very nice.
That'll go nice with the heat on the pork.
Absolutely,
Very cool,
Bob.
Alan. Starting tomorrow, be sure to stop by your Publix Aprons Simple Meals kiosk, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients after sampling this delicious pork dish. Alan, that looks good and smells good, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Blue 32, Blue 32, hot, hot. It's the Ghetto Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Ghetto dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Ghetto location near you or visit Ghetto.com.
Ghetto's got it.
We answered the call of duty and left our homes to serve in far-off lands. Now, we answer another call, this time at home, in our own communities, to respond in times of chaos, to use our strength, our skills, and our experiences to bring hope amid devastation and destruction. Together, as a team of brothers and sisters, we're continuing our mission to make this country a little stronger and a little better each day. We are Team Rubicon.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
Thank you.
What are you doing? You are the best protection she has. Buddy up.
I'm Jill Harrington. Please visit helpsavethenextgirl.com and get involved.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hurricane season is here, and so is the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC 7. This essential resource arms you with vital information you need to protect your family and property when severe weather threatens the Suncoast, including how to create your readiness plan and survival kit, shelter locations, what to do with pets, and important phone numbers. Visit mysuncoast.com and download the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC 7. Brought to you by Batteries Plus, the Florida Lottery, and Sarasota Glass and Mirror. Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC 7 shows on your streaming device. You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6:30.
Coming up, Hurricane Michael, now a Category 4 storm, will bring you to where it is exactly heading. Plus, we'll tell you how Michael could impact flights in and out of the Suncoast and in Tampa Bay today. And we'll tell you how Michael could cause problems for a national tennis tournament going on all this week in Sarasota. Those stories your forecast this half hour on Good Morning Suncoast. Welcome back. I'm Ray Collins. 6:30 right now. Let's get right to that forecast. Here he is, folks. First Alert meteorologist John Scalzi.
Well, as you slept overnight, the system Michael became better organized and has a clearly defined eye wall with numerous thunderstorms all encircling the eye wall itself, an indication of a strengthening system. So as a solid Category 4 storm, it still has the possibility of strengthening even more before making landfall in the panhandle of the state up around Destin. It's a good distance from us, over 220 miles away, so the tropical storm force winds only extending out 175 miles means that we're unlikely to see tropical storm force winds sustained along the Suncoast. We could within a few thunderstorms that move past, but sustained winds of tropical storm force are probably not in the cards, even though we are under a tropical storm watch. But along the immediate coast, it will be breezy, coming in with perhaps a wind speed of 20-25 miles per hour and gusts as high as tropical storm force. We do have these red watch boxes up to our north. Those are tornado watch boxes from Tarpon Springs northward to the Panhandle. They do not include our area, but we will still see some rain showers moving through, and some of them could produce gusty winds, and we're not going to let our guard down for the possibility of an isolated tornadic cell. A great day to have your First Alert weather app on your phone so you can trace them out and get alerts as they come up. We've got some showers in inland areas. Coastal areas are pretty quiet right now, but in about 45 minutes, I think some of these showers down to the south will be lifting northward and tag Anna Maria, Holmes Beach, and Longboat Key once again. Back to you.
Thank you, John. More storm coverage next. First, let's check the traffic. Issue there at State Road 64 westbound. The right lane is blocked as you approach I-75. Be aware of that. Also, State Road 70 eastbound between 301 and 75. Farther south in northern Sarasota County, 301 northbound congested after you cross over University Parkway into Manatee County. And then our final map to the south, nothing much to speak of right now at 6:32 on this Wednesday morning. Right now, Manatee County is under a state of emergency. The concern around the coastal communities is the storm surge. Our Jess Dowdrick is live there right now on Anna Maria Island. Jess has seen some consistent rain throughout the morning and then a lot of quiet. Jess, what's going on there right now?
Well, Ray, it's quiet right now. It actually hasn't rained for probably about an hour and a half at this point in time, which I'm not complaining about at all. We have also noticed that the water is starting to recede here on Anna Maria Island. I'm right near Marina Drive. That's the road that's behind me, near the intersection of Gulf Drive. And we've watched cars go through the water this morning, and we can tell that Marina Drive, the water's also receding there. So without the rain, things are starting to look a little better here. It's a little breezy, but the issue at this point in time and all morning hasn't been the wind. It's mostly been the flooding. We've seen some cars speed right through the flooded waters. We've seen others that have stopped and turned around and went another way. Now, Anna Maria Island Elementary School is closed today because of the flooded waters. All of the other schools in Manatee County are still open. We'll continue to monitor the situation here on Anna Maria Island throughout the morning. For now, live on Anna Maria Island, Jess Dowdrick, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Talk to you soon. Thank you, Jess. Let's take another live shot. Now, this is out on Lido Key. We've got another crew out there. This is St. Armand Circle. Nothing going on there right now, but as John's map shows us, they will see some rain. We all will throughout the morning. Quiet there, though, right now, and not much to speak of as the camera starts to pan toward the rotary and back toward the curb. 6:34 right now. Hurricane Michael continues to strengthen now as it bears down on the Florida Panhandle. Governors have declared states of emergency in Florida, Georgia, and in Alabama. ABC's Maggie Rulli is in Panama City with the latest there.
The raw power of Hurricane Michael is already being felt on the high seas.
We battled 13 to 15-foot swells last night.
We're told all passengers aboard the Empress of the Seas are safe, but now the monster storm is taking direct aim for the Florida Panhandle, overnight becoming a strong Category 4 storm.
Do not underestimate the power of this storm. This will be devastating.
Seen from space, this hurricane is intimidating, stretching more than 400 miles. It's left a path of destruction and more than a dozen dead in Central America. And authorities here in Florida are not taking any chances, fearing high winds and double-digit storm surge.
Remember, we can rebuild your house. We cannot rebuild your life. Think about your kids, your grandkids, all your family members. Take care of them. Take this seriously and keep your family safe.
The governor of Florida is asking at least 375,000 people to evacuate. Many residents heeding the warning and saying this is shaping up to be the worst this region has seen in decades. Taking to shelters,
understanding that this storm may be a little bit more intense than the others,
and hauling everything out of harm's way.
I don't want to sink.
Others stocking up on dwindling supplies, preparing to ride out this storm.
We're hunkered down the way we need to be. We're well prepared. We understand the severity, and we'll be good to go.
Officials warned that it's not just the center of this storm they're worried about. Many of the outer bands are also packing hurricane-strength winds. We could start seeing those in just a matter of hours. In Panama City Beach, Florida, Maggie Bruley, ABC News.
For the latest on Michael and breaking news and your up-to-the-minute first alert forecast, check out our app. It's in the App Store under WWSB or under My Suncoast. Hurricane Michael is canceling some flights in and out of Tampa International Airport this morning. Silver Airways has canceled flights to Tallahassee, and additional cancellations are possible to destinations around the hurricane path. So far, we've checked, and no flights have been canceled in and out of SRQ, but airport officials are keeping a close eye on Hurricane Michael. And so far, all schools except for Anna Maria Elementary are open today in Manatee County. It is closed due to the hurricane. The Manatee County School District also says there will be no transportation for island students who attend other schools on the mainland. Any students who have to miss a day will receive an excused absence today from the Manatee County School District. Hurricane Michael is also causing potential problems for a national tennis tournament going on all this week in Sarasota. More than 100 of the best 50 and over players in the country are here this week for the annual competition. This event wraps up this weekend on Sunday at the Bath & Racquet Club, which is on 41 just south of Bee Ridge Road. Most of the players had to fly in for the tournament, so organizers are hoping the hurricane's effects don't wash out too many matches. The finals are set for Sunday morning, and the public is invited to attend any of the remaining matches. The City of Venice has closed walkways at the South Jetty off Tarpon Center Drive due to high water from the storm. The water is washing across the jetty and creating unsafe conditions. Crews will reopen the jetty when the water recedes. Humphreys Park parking lot has also been closed due to Michael. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, a look at some of the newest video coming in of Hurricane Michael and tell you when the Panhandle could feel the brunt of the storm. And we'll also take you to Panama City Beach, where popular spots are empty right now this morning. But first, here's a live shot from Gulf Shores, Alabama, just west of where the eye is heading. Still some strong wind there, as you can see by those flags blowing on your screen. Let's check the local situation now and those bands of rain and wind. Here's Meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we still have a few watches up for our area. We have tropical storm watches up for our area waterways, as well as high surf advisories, small craft advisories. And in areas of Tampa Bay and Anna Marie Island, we still have a storm surge advisory as well for 2 to 4 feet. Although I think that's a little bit on the high side, perhaps. We might be looking at more like 2 to 3 feet. They've been consistently running around 2 feet above average tides throughout the last 24 hours. And I think maybe with this next tide coming up in the afternoon, it might be just a little bit higher. Nuisance flooding for the most part. And then down to the south, some coastal erosion, the other problem. We have a couple of tides. Anna Maria high tide comes in at 1:39. The next one after midnight at 12:41. We'll have the complete forecast in a second.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do it yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Rugs as Art. You know the name. You know the building. But do you know what's inside? Yes, Rugs as Art is Florida's #1 area rug superstore. But there is so much more. Amazing furniture, accessories, and art. All this and more. Come see for yourself. You'll love our personal touch and be pleasantly surprised by our affordable prices. Rugs as Art and more. There is so much more to explore.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't do dialysis, if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Then Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
It's rainy season on the Suncoast. Storms can pop up at a moment's notice. Sometimes it's just rain. Sometimes it's much worse. When severe weather strikes, trust ABC 7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So if you look at our boards here, you will certainly notice that the wind speeds are still elevated, southeast coming in at about 15. And those higher wind speeds will be the case all morning and afternoon long. The only difference I think will be, excuse me, the only difference I think will be that it will move from a southeast wind to more of a southwesterly wind. And perhaps we'll uptick the wind speed just a little bit. I think we'll stay below tropical storm force, but we still could see some sustained winds of 20 mile an hour a little bit later on today. We've seen that already around here yesterday, and there's definitely a chance of seeing that again today. In fact, the wind gusts could even be higher, up around 30. 97% relative humidity. It's a sticky start to the day. We'll have a fair amount of cloud cover around, though, and that'll kind of keep our temperatures down to the upper 80s. I don't think we'll see any 90s around today. And then as we head into the evening, our rain chances will start to trim down. We'll keep an eye out for any strong to severe storms today, but so far that's not in the cards. We're looking at mostly showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two. Winds 140 mile an hour with Michael, making it a solid Category 4 storm. And all of the signals are that it could strengthen further before making landfall later this afternoon up around Panama City, perhaps Mexico Beach, around in there. And then lifting off into Georgia, perhaps as a Category 1 hurricane, even into central Georgia, maybe affecting areas of Atlanta with some gusty winds as well, and the potential of some airport delays at that Atlanta airport. Then moving off the Atlantic coast a little bit later on tomorrow. Some of the wave heights around the center of this storm are certainly impressive. We saw this yesterday down to our south, 20, 25 foot waves around the center of the storm, maybe even as high as 30 according to this model. And those propagate outwards. So even though the wind speeds are not all that great, we're not really getting wind-driven waves so much as waves propagating outward through the Gulf waters and crashing onto shore, elevating our wave heights. That's why we're seeing the localized flooding and the increase in our storm tides, our tides rather, coming in about 2 feet above the normals, and leading to that nuisance flooding along Anna Maria Island and Siesta Key and other places. That'll be the case again this afternoon, I think, as that storm system lifts northward. Another thing it's going to do is, because of those wave heights and because the winds are really just coming up coast normal to the shores of the Big Bend region and the Panhandle, it's going to create just a monster storm surge up there. The 10 to 12 foot storm surge that'll move a pretty good distance inland. You've got lots of little lakes and tributaries up here that'll allow that water to move inland. So it'll be a real issue there. For Tallahassee itself, they'll probably see some wind speeds approaching hurricane force, and that could indeed create some power outages up there, as well as some structural damage to some buildings. We're watching some showers in inland areas mostly right now. These showers are non-severe in nature, fast moving, producing some rain showers along 70 and 62. So watch for that as you're driving along. There could be some ponding water on roadways. And down to the south, we've got a cluster of storms lifting northward. So Upper Longboat Key, Holmes Beach, Anna Maria, you'll probably get clipped in the next half hour to 45 minutes with some of these showers lifting northward, fast moving showers. The forecast for us continues to be about the same. Strong, gusty winds this afternoon, below tropical storm force, most likely along the coastline. Gusting, however, to pretty close to tropical storm force, and that means some pretty rough conditions out there. So obviously stay in port. Good chances of rainfall today. Slightest chance of severe weather we'll keep an eye out for. Have your First Alert weather app on your phone ready to go. And then as we head into tomorrow, wind shift to the northwest. Drier air filters in. Rain chances start to reduce pretty quickly, and although it will be breezy, it will not be windy, and I don't think we'll have the issues with tides tomorrow. And then as we head into Friday and Saturday, that cool, crisp air begins to move in, and although daytime highs are still warm, nighttime lows drop into the 60s, so it should be delightful indeed. Back to you, Ray.
Yeah, summer's over. Thank you, John. Checking the traffic right now. Here's the scene in Manatee County. Still an ongoing issue. If you're on State Road 64 westbound, a right lane is blocked right as you get to I-75. That's an ongoing construction area already, made a little more confusing this morning by that lane blockage. Farther south, here's the scene in the northern half of Sarasota County. Some problems there on Fruitville, eastbound as you approach, say, Beneva or McIntosh. Also east of the interstate at Clark Road. And then farther south, just some spotty delays down in Northport, mostly in the northbound lanes of US 41. Well, as you've been hearing right now, Hurricane Michael is a Category 4 hurricane expected to make landfall early this afternoon around Panama City in the Panhandle. Power crews are on standby, including right here in Sarasota on Fruitville Road. Marla Spence is now live in the newsroom with the latest on the power crews. Marla?
Hey, Ray, Hurricane Michael could leave hundreds of thousands of Floridians without power. Duke Energy is predicting up to 200,000 outages, and the company so far has mobilized 7,000 workers. Now, this is video of crews with Florida Power and Light arriving in Panama City who are on standby right now. And there are also a fleet of FPL trucks on standby as well at the Sarasota County Fairgrounds. Now, crews there are ready to move out as soon as the storm passes, and crews with Gulf Power are also on standby in Pensacola. More than 200 linemen were dispatched to Pensacola Interstate Fairgrounds yesterday from several states, many as far as Michigan.
We have probably committed resources from more than a dozen states, coming far as Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, and as far west as Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Texas, and then all surrounding states coming in to help us. We have probably more than 2,000 committed outside resources, plus with our 1,100 employees and our 330 contractors on our system already, we have over 4,000 workers planning to help us out restore power, and we're going to be getting more as well.
Are waiting to see where the damage is before groups of storm teams decide where to go. Now, if Hurricane Michael makes a landfall as Category 4, it'll be the strongest storm to hit the Panhandle. Ray?
All right, thank you, Marla. Live in the newsroom. As the Panhandle braces for Michael today, it looks like a ghost town right now in most of Panama City Beach. Reporter Fred Hunter has a closer look.
Well, the operative word for this stretch of Panama City Beach for today is closed, as the sign reflects. So many people who came here on late vacations have gone home, and even local residents have left Panama City. A few have stayed, and those are being asked to go now to storm shelters because this is being taken as a very serious storm. Many people say this may be the strongest storm they have seen in their lifetime, and they're comparing it to a Category 5 that hit Panama City Beach, and of course that was Opal. Where we're standing now along Thomas Drive, according to forecasts, by this time tomorrow will be underwater. We're talking about a 6 to 9 foot storm surge here along Panama City Beach. Further to the east in Apalachicola and the Big Bend, the storm surge will be even higher, 9 to 13 feet. So precautions have just about come to an end now, and the people who are here are probably going to wind up just sheltering in place. Two big considerations are not only going to be the wind, but that storm surge, and of course the resulting power outages, which may, they say, last for days, if not weeks. At Panama City Beach, I'm meteorologist Fred Hunter for the Raycom News Network.
We'll have our top 7 headlines, including John Scalzi's forecast, after this.
Reorganizing a space in your home? Save up to 15% on our premium finishes during the California Closets Autumn Upgrade event. Contact us today for a free design consultation. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
I'm a Florida voter. I want to make sure my voice is heard.
Here in Florida,
we have 3 ways to vote.
Vote by mail.
early voting,
and voting at the polls on Election Day. Make sure your voice is heard.
I'm Secretary of State Ken Detzner. Get ready, get set, vote.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
A decade of war has taken an unprecedented toll on our men and women in uniform.
Hundreds of thousands of our veterans are suffering from the trauma of war.
At Justice for Vets, we believe that every veteran should have the opportunity for treatment and restoration.
Get involved and go to justiceforvets.org.
Help put treatment within reach of veterans in crisis.
Veterans fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn to fight for theirs.
I'm Alan Cohn. The House District 73 debate after the Melissa Howard controversy. Tommy Gregory got the Republican nomination. He takes on Democrat Liv Coleman.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Reorganizing a space in your home? Save up to 15% on our premium finishes during the California Closets Autumn Upgrade event. Contact us today for a free design consultation. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
All right, time for our top 7 headlines. First off, the star of the show, meteorologist John Scalzi.
Thank you very much, Ray. Let's take a look at the risks that this system poses for us. Obviously, not nearly what they're seeing in the Panhandle, nothing like it. Basically, just some nuisance flooding due to some higher than average tides, plus some passing showers. A storm surge will be a moderate risk, because of the impediments to traffic and such. And then, of course, rip currents, water traffic, anything dealing with wave action out there is going to be do not go out of port, basically, is what I'm saying. We're going to have high wave action. We're going to have small craft advisories, some pretty good blow of winds as well. But as far as tornadic activity or damaging winds, that risk is fairly low for us. Back to you, Ray.
Number 2, first alert traffic. Only one issue right now to note on Suncoast roads, and that is State Road 64 westbound. A lane is blocked at 75. Otherwise, no major issues right now as you head out the door this morning. Number 3, Hurricane Michael, now a Category 4 storm, expected to make landfall about 2 p.m. in the Panhandle. It is currently heading toward Panama City. Number 4, Manatee County is under a state of emergency due to a storm surge watch. Anna Maria Elementary School is closed today due to the storm. Number 5, marine biologists are mixed on the impact Michael could have on red tide on the Suncoast. On one hand, it may help break up the toxic algae bloom, or it could blow it closer to shore. Stay tuned. Number 6, the city of Venice has closed walkways at the South Jetty off Tarpon Center Drive due to high water there. It's washing across the jetty point and creating unsafe conditions. Crews will reopen the jetty when the water recedes. Number 7, what's trending? This couple in Panama City Beach wasn't taking any chances. They moved up their wedding day to beat the storm. The couple's supposed to get married today, but Hurricane Michael forced evacuations there, so they got married yesterday. You can still see, though, some brisk winds, and that'll be a ceremony you won't soon forget. Good for them. Happy birthday also to my better half, Aaron, who marks a birthday today. So all eyes on the morning commute right now and the conditions, and you've said it 1,000 times, but for those who just joined us, one last wrap up.
Quick, fast-moving showers throughout the day, especially along the coast. Inland, you might say what all the fuss is about, but along the coastline, we still have 2 more tides that we'll be watching, especially for areas from Siesta Key on up through Anna Maria Island. Wind speeds today below tropical storm force, but still breezy. All water activities, forget about it.
Good. Boaters, stay home and watch John on TV instead. Thanks for watching Good Morning Suncoast. We'll have team coverage throughout the day on the effects of the storm here on the Suncoast. Now stay tuned. Good Morning America is straight ahead.